Hey there, Uni-Warriors, EnnuiGoblin here, once again bringing to you the latest in Uni-War action. I've been meaning to finish up my coverage of this tournament since I started in the last team video, so here we are at the Risky Business 2v2 Semifinals. We're going to be looking first at this matchup between teams New Earth and Chitain. Both of these teams pulling really great runs through this tournament and runs overall in the game. We'll get to that in just a moment. Team New Earth picking up 2 victories, one against Team Jotun and Team Z5. Neither of those teams were simple victories to pull above, especially Z5. I'm not sure, I don't believe it's on the championship ladder, but on the standard ladder, I believe Team Z5 is the highest rated team right now on standard 2v2 ladder, or at least in the top 3 slots. Also, their opponent, Team Chitain, coming in with 2 victories against Team WWWW and Team Uni-War Poland. We watched that Uni-War Poland game last time. They really pulled together and put together a very good, solid strategy overall. Looking at our players here, New Earth is the team. I'm so excited that we're going to get to watch a matchup against this with New Earth at the helm here. I want to talk a little bit about Earth here. Earth is one of the oldest veterans playing in this game. He has been playing this game. I don't know if he's definitely one of the people who's been playing it the longest since its inception, and he's innovated so many strategies about this game. He's currently recused himself from the standard ladder. He's said that he's waiting for the pro ladder to get fixed, and until then he doesn't really want to participate in the standard ladder, and I can't really blame him. I understand where he's coming from. So but while he was still ranked, he was sitting at that #1 spot for quite a while. It was a real big feat for him to hold on to that spot for so long. And in addition to that, I mean, for example, if you've ever used the strategy with using Marauders to go on top of underlings and reduce their health one at a time and quickly diminish buried lings, that's a strategy that Earth came up with. And I mean, I'm really excited to see what he could do in this match. And of course, Newbie is going to be his partner, and Newbie is another player that I'm really excited to do a match. I have not had the opportunity to do a Newbie matchup just yet, and I want to talk about this guy because he is one of the most successful players to ever play Uni-War. Take a look at this. Championship December, Championship November, Championship October, 3-time first place championship winner. And it's just his ability to show up at these tournaments is simply astonishing. Coming up 2nd place in Imminent Invasion as well. So I'm really, really excited to see. Don't forget that Team New Earth, they also took 1st place at the Raid and Rescue Tournament. So I'm pulling New Earth as the slight favored because their opponent is no slouch. Looking into Team Chitain, UniKZ and Strahd, pulling a really sound victory against Team Uni-War Poland, managing to outplay Legia and Zinth, as Legia and Zinth went for the Sapien and Titan matchup, whereas Team Chitain decided to go for a double Sapien, and I think the double Sapien gave him a little bit more ability. They really did, but overall, UniKZ and Strahd, they're very, very, very good, these players, at pulling ahead and wars of attrition. They know how to make efficient kills. Every time I see these players, they're just so meticulous about managing their damage to credit ratio. It's really amazing. I know UniKZ, part of his strategy involves using a lot of spreadsheets. He's got like a whole, I don't know if it's an algorithm or not, but I know it's a different level of strategy with these two. So I really couldn't tell you. I'd say New Earth is the slight favorite, but I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. And the map for this round's matchup is going to be called Morp by BigFace11. It's an interesting double diamond pattern. It's going to start out with an initial credit count of 250 and a credit per base count of 100. There are 9 natural bases for each side. Both teams will be on the same side, so that means that one player on each team will be receiving 400 credits of natural income, and the other player on each team will be receiving 500 credits of natural income. That could be very interesting to see how it plays out, where how is one player going to be able to play to his ability to generate more credits over the other, and vice versa. It's definitely changes up some of the way the game has to be played on the map. Looking in on the map itself, positionally, it's very well mirrored. It's interesting because this is the type of map that's going to be, it's going to be a consistent two-front fight. It's going to be really difficult from troops from one side of the map to get to the other side of the map. So once you've built troops onto your natural base positions, you've really kind of committed it up onto this hemisphere, because you don't want to really waste turns bringing units down to the other point through this chokehold. Looking at the units themselves, the bases that really you want to watch out for are going to be these 3 bases up in this position. Particularly these 4 bases, I think, are ripe for base captures just by virtue of all of these open tiles around it. There's a lot of open terrain surrounding these bases. They're going to be very hard to push units back. There is this mountain and forest tiles that make the road clearing a little bit difficult, but if you can push a heavy unit up onto one of these positions, these bases start to become very vulnerable. You also have these bases which have a slightly closer proximity to each other. They are separated by a lot of mountain and forest, but there are 2 separate avenues for these players to be able to choose. So if you decided to go for a gang up to the center, that could be a very dangerous position as well. On the southern and the northern hemispheres, these healing tiles are going to play a very critical role, as it's extremely difficult to get units across these hilly bridges here. And if you can place heavy units onto these healing tiles, it's almost impossible to get them off without a lot of firepower behind it. So it's interesting to see how these players are going to be playing up. It is going to be a Sapien team versus a Sapien Titan team, and I couldn't really tell you which team I favor. I think the Sapiens' mobility will help them initially by setting up an early position, but I believe the Titans' ability to build plasmas are going to make them quite formidable in the center. So let's see how this match plays up. Playing for Team Chitain as the Red Sapiens, in the bottom right hand of the board, it's Strahd. And playing on the upper right hand side as the Yellow Titans for Team Chitain, it's EnnuiGoblin. And for Team New Earth, playing in the upper left-hand side as the Blue Sapiens, it's Earth. And playing on the bottom left-hand side as the Black Sapiens, it's Newbie. Without any further ado, let's get the match underway here on round 1. Earth going to be taking his first round of captures. I'm not sure which player. I expect Earth, or I don't know if Newbie or Earth is going to go for the extra capture. I think it might be Earth, just the way he's setting it up. I do expect EnnuiGoblin to get the majority share of the bases, because as the Titan player, it's going to be very important for him to be able to pump out those plasma tanks each turn whenever necessary. Here comes Strahd now, making his last solidifications. No unit, a Marauder for Team for Earth here, but I don't see that many. And here comes a Marine and Marauder combination from Strahd, and it looks like the buildup is underway. Newbie now going for his last capture, and it looks like Earth is going to be taking the smaller share and Newbie taking the larger portion of the bases. Probably not a bad idea, considering that Newbie's position is on the bottom half here. Newbie's going to have to be able to defend against the Titan player who's got the extra base count. And now, sorry, I'm going to center the screen here so we can watch a little better. And now, on the bottom half, Strahd adjusting his troops, pushing them up against that bridge and making a little pressure for Team New Earth. And Newbie now continuing his buildup of Marauders, trying to push a little bit, get a little bit more center control here, and it looks like a little bit more center control for Team New Earth, but a little less control for them on the outside perimeters. Earth now starting up for his first assault, trying to soften up that speeder while it's still got the negative on the base, and also pushing up some Marines for a possible strike against any pushes. Here comes a tank in the center from Team Earth, and that could be a lot of pressure if it gets the chance to move forward quickly. Here comes EnnuiGoblin now, going to try and reduce this Marine count while he has the opportunity. EnnuiGoblin opting to pull back that weakened speeder to the healing tile, and here comes Strahd now pushing forward his Marauder a little bit, going for the first kill here, and there is first blood. Team Chitain picking up the first 100 credits. Team Chitain has Strahd continuing buildup of Marauders on the top and center as well. And now Newbie going to try and retaliate against some of these Marauder count. It looks like he might be able to recycle in, bringing in the other Marine to do the cleanup, and that Marine is in a very good defensive position as well as an offense, evening up the credit score. Here comes Newbie now continuing to the push, and a tank to secure that position up top. The tank, it will keep that position safe for the Marauders, but now he has to waste credits by putting an anchor up at the top. That tank's not going to be able to do much except defend, although it will keep that position safe from any pushes, so I guess it's worth it for now. Here comes Earth now, bringing some more Marines up into the center, trying to keep these players at bay. EnnuiGoblin now pushing forward his plasma tank, and that plasma tank is very scary up on that bridge. Team New Earth is going to have to respond to it very soon. Strahd continuing to aggro with his Marauders against this Marine line, and is that Marine going to stand up for this turn? I think he's going to be able to stand for now. Strahd continuing to bring down more Marauders, not wanting to engage that tank at the top. The tank now making the push up to the base, though, and Team Chitain cannot afford to have that tank cap that position there. Here comes the copter from Newbie as well. Newbie is going to have a lot more firepower with that copter. It is a decent response to the plasma tank, but not one that's going to be a permanent situation just yet. He'll need more firepower to deal it. And there comes the engineer from Earth, and that is a fantastic solution to that plasma tank in the center. That EMP can turn out the lights really quickly. EnnuiGoblin now going to push forward with that tank and try and get a shot off on that copter early, taking 3 health out of it. That softens it up a little bit, but it still is viable, but not against the tank itself any longer. And EnnuiGoblin making a push with those mechas, threatening that bottom position a little bit. More Marine build up from Strahd here as well, and a copter also being responded from Strahd, and that can make it very difficult for Team New Earth to continue a helicopter push without more credits being invested in air. Here comes Strahd now, getting some heals off that Marauder, pushing his softened Marauder up to the back to get a 3 health on it. And it looks like it's just a little bit of Marauder back and forth up at the top. That tank is going to get a big 6 shot against that Marine, and that Marine will go down next round. Here comes Newbie now, trying to bring up his Marauders to see if he can take out... Can he take out this Marauder in the center? He is going to be able to get a 3 health on it, going for the full health. Is that Marauder going to go down this turn? It looks like he will be able to pick up a big 250 credits right now, pulling ahead in the credit kill count for Team New Earth. Also, more Marines from Newbie up at the top. Newbie bringing his weakened Marauder up onto the healing tile and defending it with a Marine. And here comes Earth now, going to try and make his response. Is he going to be able to finish up this other Marauder on the top? No, but he will soften it quite heavily. Earth now bringing his tank back up. He's going to try and use that tank to reinforce the tank in the center. Earth forced to pull his tank back a little bit so that he can't get he can't engage those plasma tanks both at the same time. And now EnnuiGoblin going to be taking out a Marauder up on the healing tile, not wanting Earth to be able to get a quick heal on that Marauder, immediately snatching a 250 credits to their count. And here comes the push from these 2 plasma cannons, and that's a very effective wall. It's going to be difficult for those cannons to make their approach at the same time, though, with those forest tiles being the only other option for the second tank. Here comes Strahd now pushing back more of these Marines, trying to get some more weakens on these Marauders. Is he going to be able to take down the second Marauder? That would be a lot of credits right there. No, it looks like he will only get to weaken it, but getting a big 3 heal as well on his Marauder that was just attacking with. Here comes Strahd out with his helicopter, trying to make sure that these Marines don't provide the defense that they're currently giving to these Marauders and copters and tanks in the back. The Marauder getting another kill. Team Chitain picking up ahead, 200 credits in the kill count. Team Strahd now pulling up his last Marauder, and here comes Newbie, going to be taking a big 5 shot at that Marine on the mountain, and that Marine's ability to defend that zone of control suddenly ripped away. And Newbie now trying to gang up on this tank. That tank cannot defend that position very well because it's got the negative to it. Here comes the copter now finishing up another Marauder, pulling New Earth ahead 800 to 550. And Newbie evilly pulling away that other Marauder onto the healing tile to get some big heals on it next turn. More Marines being pumped out by Newbie. A lot of pressure now, but these plasma tanks are still something that's going to have to get dealt with in the next couple of rounds. Earth now continuing to push to build up that credit kill count, going 900 against 550. A lot of Marines have gone down this turn. Now a 4-shot exchange against that helicopter, and that's a very great decision. If I'm going to go for an even exchange with helicopters, do it when you're, several hundred credits up in the kill count. Very good decision by Team New Earth. And now EnnuiGoblin going to go with his retaliation, going to take down this first Marine with a speeder and plasma combo. Other speeder going to try and weaken that Marine up on the mountain tile. Is that Marine going to go down? Can that 9 health reach? Yes, it can. And down goes another Marine. Bring the count up to 750. Still a little bit behind, but not irreparably so. Bringing the Eclipse back away, not wanting to engage that tank and lose it just yet, but he needs something to defend against the air. Strahd now continuing to take shots against the copter, taking a 1 health with his 6. Hey, a free health on a copter, he's got to take it if he can. There's not much else the copter can do just at this moment. More Marines coming up from Strahd. Strahd pulling a little bit of a retreat, not able to engage against those 2 mechas with that A health Marine just yet. And now Newbie, sensing a slight advantage, is going to press forward with these Marauders. He's going to get another Marauder kill here, it looks like, potentially going for a 4 health, and I think he has just enough. Can this other Marauder reach it? Yes, it can, and that Marauder is going to be able to get the kill right there, pulling New Earth up to 1150 over 750. Newbie now getting some more heals on his other Marauder, pushing forward with that tank, getting a big force shot against that other tank here, and that tank is getting a lot of pressure on its position to defend against that base. Here comes Newbie, bringing more Marauders up to the north center. And now Earth, we're opting to go for heals, keeping that, that engineer is doing a fantastic job of keeping those plasma tanks from pushing forward. EnnuiGoblin knows the moment he pushes his plasma forward a second tile, boom, down goes the EMP, and that plasma tank is going to be reduced to at least half health. EnnuiGoblin now going to try and eliminate one of these Marauders. They have to reduce this Marauder count at the top. That is where all these kills are coming from. Doing a pretty good job of evening up, though. Only 150 behind now for Team Chitain. It is still anybody's game. There are a lot of Eclipse on the board. If those Eclipse get successful shots against those 2 copters, that's 1,000 credits right now that are currently being counted with the build. So the credit count is still 1150 to 1,000, but if Team the New Earth gets caught with those helicopters, they could be in a lot of trouble against those Eclipses. And Strahd now continuing to aggro, trying to get another Marine kill here, pushing it up and evening it to 1150 to 11. More Marines coming up from Strahd. And Marines are a good choice right now. They help defend against the copters, and they pretty much give you an ability to kind of foothold once you've got evened up the credit score. So I like the Marine build from Team Chitain. Now New Earth, going to try and hammer away at this plasma and weaken it as much as possible. And here comes the push from the tank. No, still more Marauder health. Sacrificing 3 Marauder health to get another down shot of it. Is he going to be able to get another plasma health reduced? He is going to get it. Wow, that's a lot of great rolls. And now is the tank going to be able to clear it up this time? And down goes the plasma, and that is a big shot right there. What a great shot. This is what Earth is so good at. He just goes over the potential attack cues and just goes over position after position after position until he finds the one that maximizes his damage output. So new players, take note. That is how you get better at this game. Continue to look for options until you find one that gives you the maximum amount of damage output. And look at that collection. That is a big tank loss right there. Meanwhile, here we have... I'm sorry, not Earth. Newbie. Newbie was the one who got the kill. Here's Earth now continuing his assault with these tanks on these mechas here. These mechas are not going to be last very long. Another engineer coming up for that position, and that position is very well defended now against a mecha push. It's going to require heavier units to be invested in the south. And here comes Team EnnuiGoblin trying to get some more of these Marine kills. Another tank is being sent up to that position, so for now it could be defended, but they're still a little evened up in there. It's not like the pressure is completely off just yet. Team EnnuiGoblin getting another plasma at the south, and that's a lot of resources to have to dedicate to the south. He just committed 500 resources to do nothing but sit on a base and defend. And now Team Chitain desperately needs resources in the center to contribute to the damage. Strahd is going to manage to get another kill here and push it up to 1850 to under 1300. But is it going to be enough? Another Marine kill from Chitain. That's not bad. Pulling only 400 isn't all of Zlot's territory, but they need more damage output in the center. Able to get another 1 health off that tank. That's not too bad. That 6 health helicopter has gotten so many shots off of, like, collectively he's done so much damage over the course of this game. Here come the Marauders from the top now. going to be able to try and eliminate the mecha on that position, and a base cap stretcher could be hurting here. It looks like, is he going to go for the base cap? No, he's going to pull that copter back instead and opts to bring the tank up to get a big 4-shot against that Eclipse. Is the Eclipse going to go down this turn? Another 2 health brought up to it. No, but it is going to be severely weakened. It looks like the copter is going to be able to finish it off. Going to be able to pull an even 2 exchange. Not quite finished off just yet, but another Marauder, and finally the Eclipse goes down, and another 400 credits, pulling the score to 2350 over 1400 in New Earth's favor. That was a really great attack sequence. Wow, that Eclipse took so many units were have to called in to get to that Eclipse, and those Marauders have so much mobility on maps like this, and that's what's really giving New Earth, I think, their advantage. They're really abusing the Marauder length as much as possible. Meanwhile, Earth continuing to harass against this plasma tank. He's trying to catch it while it's off guard. It's still got that negative. It's down to a -6. It's got that -1 to its defense while it's sitting on that base, and now it's trapped in that position. There could be some real threat for a base capture next turn at the south. EnnuiGoblin now sacrificing his mecha to get a 2-shot off that tank, and now the other tank for the +3 gang are going to get a 4-shot on that tank as well, and another plasma, but now that's 1,000 credits now. No, 1,500 credits worth of position of troops that have to fight and just defend against a single base. And I think that's the anchor that's keeping Team Chitain from being able to commit as much as they want and why their credit is starting to spiral out of control. They don't have an even keel at the north just yet. Meanwhile, these speeders are going to get some Marine kills though, closing the gap to under 1,000. Getting a few heals off these mechas as well. Here comes Strahd now, sacrificing one of his Marines to get a better shot at the top at the tank. And is this Marine going to go down? It will be severely weakened. I think he's got just enough. And here comes the helicopter to finish the job. And pulling now to only 1950. They're closing the gap as best they can, but each turn the gap gets a little bit bigger. Getting a 2-health shot against that copter at the top. Strahd desperately slamming everything he has against the tank. They've got it down to a 2 health, but there's no space left to continue the assault, and the tank will stay up for the turn. Here comes New Earth now. Newbie trying to get some more shots against these tanks, weaken them up as much as possible. And now the full health going to get the +2 gang up, getting a -3 shot on it. Is that tank going to stay up? The 8 health tank now going to be able to get a shot off as well, getting the -4. And is that Marauder going to be just enough? And it looks like it will. And down another 400 credits added to New Earth's credit kill count, bring it to 3150 over 1950. Newbie continuing his assault against these Marines, getting a 5-shot off that Marine as well. And this helicopter will finish the job. And that's just more resources taken away. And at this point, it's more for Team New Earth about reducing damage output than it is about widening the credit gap. The credit gap is already in their favor, and now if they want to maintain, all they have to do to maintain that lead is make sure that there's just not a damage reciprocal in the center. And Earth getting the EMP on both the tanks here, and these tanks are in a lot of trouble. It looks like this one plasma tank might go down. The last thing that Team Chitain can afford is the loss of another plasma tank, and here it comes with the 2 health guns, and down it goes just enough, and that is going to skyrocket Team New Earth up into the... It's going to bring their lead even more, and now I think it's going to start seeing things spiral out of control for Team Chitain. That was a huge turn right there. That EMP, I told you about those EMPs. They can be very, very deadly when they're in the right situation. Team Chitain continue to pull back these eclipses. They're trying to... It's all about as much damage as they can put out. How many kills can they get each round? But each round, the number of kills go down a little bit. And at this point, they're almost 2,000 credits behind. They're pulling it up as best they can, but the southern position is about to crumble out of control. And EnnuiGoblin continuing to get some heals on these speeders, not wanting to give up just yet. Building a few more mechas to try and deal with the situation. The plasma tank does come online, and it is still at full health, so I don't know if... Is it going to be able to go down this turn? I don't know if the firepower is there just quite yet, but it could be very close. Strahd continuing to eliminate some of these Marines so that they won't be able to get the gang up bonus potentials on that tank on the base there. Stride continue to clean up, and down goes the base count, and that's actually quite a number of kills. The credit kill gap now is only at 1,000. If Stride can get enough kill, I mean, that was a pretty decent turn for them. I don't know if they can turn it around, but they've definitely made their position strong, a little bit more of a stronghold. And here comes Newbie now, eliminating that last Marine up at the top there, or the last Mecha at the top there, sending forward more of these Marauders. These Marauders are going to be able to get a lot of shots here, and now this Eclipse in danger of getting reduced quickly to its health potential. And the tank is going to be able to get at least a 5 or 6 shot here. Getting a 4 shot, okay, that's still not bad, and that should be enough for the full health copter to finish it up, bringing Team Earth up to 45-50. Newbie now continuing to hammer away at this Marine line in the center. Down goes another Marine, bringing it up to 46-50 for Team Earth. Newbie continuing to hammer away at this tank position, and that tank is now completely isolated. It is not long for this world. Out comes the battery, and that tank is down next turn for sure now. What a match. That battery is going to seal the deal in that position for certain. And here comes Earth now, gonna try and do as much damage as he can on this plasma tank while it's stuck on the base with the negative defensive penalty. A 3 health shot on that, and now the tank gonna be making its approach, gonna get a 4 shot, reducing it to a 2 health. Is he gonna be able to eliminate it? He's gonna be able to bring it down to a 1 health, and that plasma tank is not gonna be able to contribute any damage and should be able to get eliminated next round. Bringing 2 health and also getting some heals on the Marines at the bottom as well. Here comes EnnuiGoblin, going to try and bring his speeder count to eliminate some of these Marines up in the center. Here comes the Mecha for the cleanup. Finally bringing their count up to 3,000. EnnuiGoblin going to continue to hammer away at some of these speeders. Some of these Marauders. Is he going to be able to get a Marauder kill here? Even if he gets the Marauder kill, I mean, what good could the Marauder kill really do? There's a tank and 2 copters and a battery up at that position. The Marauder is the least of your problems at this point. Pulling a few shots, pulling a 3 shot against the copter. I guess that's something that softens it up. Now all you really have to worry about is the battery and the tank on the position. Getting a 4 shot exchange with that Marine in the center. Here comes the tank now. And the tank, EnnuiGoblin is going to lose the tank in order to build another one to defend against that position. Strahd going for a series of heals on these Marines to try and entrench their position as much as possible. Continuing to go for heals on the copters, and I think that's going to be the GG instead of... I think that's the GG here for this turn with all these heals. That's a signal, and there's the GG. The Team Earth going to be a victory of a pretty big margin here. 51-50 over 32-50 on a 12-round run. Not a bad match game, guys. I really enjoyed it. This was a really fun matchup. I think we'll take a look at it in the post-game analysis, but what it really boiled down to was the Marauder aggression was so well done, as particularly Newbie's Marauder aggression up at the north, and then Earth was able to force so many plasmas to be built on this position. We'll take a look at it in just a moment. And just a few key turns in this match that I'd like to go over. Looking here, I think around here on round 6, it was still a fairly even match. These 2 plasma cannons were over defending the center position very well, giving Strahd time to do some build-up in the back. And then this Eclipse comes out, and one thing I noticed, this Eclipse never really got its opportunity to present damage. It got eliminated, I think, on round 9 right here. A lot of units were called in to bring down that particular Eclipse, and then another one comes up to compensate, and still doesn't really get its opportunity to get a hit against those helicopters. I think the key, it was here around, the super key turn to this match was here around round 10, round 9, where this plasma cannon at this position comes up, and this is where the choice of engineer really starts to show its strength. Because you have these 2, that progresses up into round 11, where both of these plasma cannons, like I said earlier, look at all of the credit resources that EnnuiGoblin had to dedicate, and these plasma cannons, yeah, they can deal damage to encroaching Marauders and Marines, but the problem is, he's not in a position to advance them toward the base. These are defensive units more than offensive units, and 1,500 credits of defense is a lot. It really detracted away from their firing power up on the northern hemisphere. Look, EnnuiGoblin doesn't really have a lot to fight against these forces from Newbie. Newbie's pretty much unopposed at the north from this point. And then but the South is pretty well defended at this round. The problem is, here's the engineer right here. He makes the push, damages. He does enough damage to these tanks. Sorry, that's in the next round. He brings the engineer up. I want to show how the engineer uses its EMP very well. This engineer comes up, and pow, off comes the EMP, and both of these tanks are completely deactivated. That's so much vulnerability at this point. He was able to eliminate this tank and then eliminate this tank the next round after, and that's... the loss of both of these tanks and that amount of credit deficit is what caused this game to become a GG on round 12. So those are just my thoughts. I will not be broadcasting the other game. I want to be able to get to the other matches in the semifinals before we go on. I will be casting both of the final matches once we get to the final series. So just to recap for this particular series, New Earth taking a victory here on this match. They also took a victory on their second match against Team Chitain. So it looks like it will be New Earth moving on into the final series. Congratulations to both players. Until next time, this is EnnuiGoblin signing off.